Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on True Story FM. I'm Pete Wright, and I'm here with Nikki Conjure. Hello, Nikki Conjure.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Pete Wright.
We're kicking off a show today about emotional planning, and I feel a little bit like this is a spin-off of our tolerations episode, magnified by conversations you've been having, and we're going to talk about, but it's not emotional planning. You're going to think that emotional planning means a thing, but it doesn't mean that thing. And so I want you to hang on to that feeling that you think you know what you know when really you don't. Oh, this is going to be great. Today, we are talking about emotional planning, and, it's going to be a fantastic conversation. But before we actually dig in, head over to takecontroladhd.com to get to know us a little bit better. You can listen to the show right there on the site or subscribe to our mailing list to get a new episode delivered to you each week. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram or Blue Sky or Pinterest at Take Control ADHD. The best way to connect with us is in the ADHD Discord community. It's a vibrant, supportive space full of people who get what life is like with ADHD. They share wins and struggles and strategies and a lot of laughs and love along the way. Join us anytime at takecontroladhd.com/Discord. And here is a great truth. If you are joining us for the first time, where you been? Welcome. Water's warm. This show exists because of our listeners, you, managed by Patreon. Now, Patreon isn't a tip jar. It is the reason we're able to keep showing up every week. Your support pays for the time, the tools, and creative energy that go into every single episode. If this show has helped you feel more seen and more capable, or just a little less alone, we're asking you to become a part of the team that makes this possible. You can join us at patreon.com/the ADHD and help us keep building together. Along the way, you get double secret and triple secret channels in our Discord server. You get access to the live stream recordings as we're here doing them. You can jump in and talk with us during the live streams and ask us questions. We love that kind of participation, and we love all of you for being a part of this community. All right, Nikki, emotional planning. Using how we feel to fuel what we get done. All right. Where did this come from?
Well, the topic came from a GPS discussion. So GPS is our planning membership that we have at Take Control ADHD. And they were talking amongst themselves after they were done with their planning, of course, that people were inspired by our conversation that we had with Nicole Stanley. Remember her when we were talking to her about financial planning and just finances and ADHD. And one of the things that she talked about was that when the goals are emotionally meaningful, then you're more connected to your values, your self-respect, your care, your future self. So you're more likely to follow through even when the motivation dips. And so that was kind of in the financial piece of it. Like if you really you're saving for something and you know that has a high meaning to you, you're going to be more likely to keep saving for it, right? There's that emotional connection. So the question in GPS was like, well, how can we do something similar with our tasks? Because there's a lot of emotion that comes up around tasks and getting things done and how we feel about those things, right? We've talked about avoidance before, procrastination, all of the things that ADHDers know all too well, right?
For sure.
And so I decided to do a workshop on this for our GPS membership. And Melissa actually said, you know what? I think this would be a great podcast show because it is definitely something that people can relate to. And when I started doing the workshop, the first thing that I really wanted to talk about was the reality of ADHD and motivation, because I think that that's a key point in understanding what's happening, because you can't necessarily just wake up and all of a sudden want to do that icky task. Yeah. Right? There is emotion around it. And I can see you're going to say something.
Nikki,
I
I
can
can't. I'm
see
on the
it.
edge of my damn seat.
Go
I
ahead
talked
and
in the
say it.
entertainment clutch this morning about my new favorite show, which is actually a really old show called Black Sails. Nikki, we are all pirate ships. There are sometimes you just can't sail because there's no wind. That's the thing. They just sit for 3 weeks in the middle of the ocean and bake because there's no wind. And sometimes I feel like that with my ADHD. I am in the middle of the sea and there is no wind. I have to do the things that I can do with no wind.
Right.
And sometimes when the wind picks up, I got to lean in hard.
Yes. And it is hard.
Yes.
Yes. And I love that you can, put that in a picture of us as pirates.
We're pirates.
It's great. Yes.
Oh my God.
Because what happens is I get asked, and this is the question that is asked, how do I motivate myself to do X?
Yeah.
And it is the wrong question to ask because motivation is so tricky with ADHD. And we have to go back to what ADHD is. Initiating tasks, getting started on things is an executive function that ADHD brains struggle with, right? Like along with emotional regulation. So you've got these two pieces that are really difficult for you anyway. And then, you've got some feelings around what you're avoiding. So of course these areas are going to, the ADHD is going to cause that kind of friction. So what's important though, is that what's been told, and we need to repeat over and over again, that this is not about laziness. This is not about lack of willpower or that you just don't care, right? It is about your brain needing some extra kind of activation energy to cross that starting line, or in this case, get the boat moving a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Wind. Get some wind.
Yeah.
And there are people, I think we talk about it, like the people who say it's laziness and it's, willpower and it's those things. Those are people who don't live with ADHD, right? Like they can muster their own wind, if I may keep it in my pirate vernacular. And
absolutely.
That's a really important thing to recognize, that this is one of the areas where we're just different. And
you're different.
Okay.
It's okay. And it's also something that we want to normalize, that you need some kind of external motivation is not failure. Like that is okay that,
Yes.
I need a deadline. Yes, you do. You need some structure. Absolutely. You need to be accountable to somebody else. Yes, absolutely. Because it's not enough just to be on your own. And that is not failure. It's information.
It's that feeling when I can stare at the wall knowing I have to write an email for 45 minutes and nothing comes out. And the second someone comes in the room, I can write like Hemingway.
Yes.
Right? You just need
or you tell
something.
somebody.
Yeah.
You just tell someone, I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden it opens up, what. And so what we want to look at is that this is information. This is something that you can learn more about yourself on. How do I find that traction to get started? And, motivation is emotional. It's not logical because we are human beings. We do have feelings. We have lots of feelings. We can't shame ourselves into getting started. And I think that that's a default sometimes for so many ADHDers, is that
I was going to say, we can try.
We can try. And like, I should have done it then, or I should do this, or I didn't do that. Like we can shame ourselves all day long. But it's not helping. And with ADHD, motivation doesn't live in logic. It lives in emotion. So when a task doesn't feel urgent, it's not emotionally engaging, it doesn't light you up in some way, you're not going to feel like it's that important because it doesn't feel real yet. It doesn't feel that pressure yet. So the shift that we want to talk about when we're talking about emotional planning is, instead of asking like, how do I motivate myself to do X, we want to ask ourselves, what kind of support will flip that activation switch for me? And how can I build that in earlier so that I'm not necessarily waiting and doing the all-nighter? And maybe I'm getting it done with the deadline, but I'm doing it with a lot of stress and pressure and unhealthy habits. Right.
Well, and that's hugely important, I think, because the reflection that I have on this is not like, Okay, so the first thing I need to do is have an accountability buddy, and then I need to have a coffee shop on deck, and then I need to have all the things that we've talked about, headphones, which are all great, but they're not great for everybody. For some people, you might need something completely different. The muscle that we're trying to build is just to figure out, to discern and document what are the strategies that work for you. What is your wind? What is your wind to help you trigger the feelings that you need to feel to be able to get the work done?
And I'm going to say, don't necessarily believe what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that I will suggest something to someone and I'll say, hey, have you gone, like, where do you do your best work? Well, I definitely do it better if I'm not out, I need to be out of the house. I need to go to the coffee shop. Okay. So when was the last time you did that? Silence.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So let's
try that.
Let's try that. Like, that works. So let's plan to make that happen so that tomorrow you're not staying at home. You're actually going to intentionally plan that you're going to the coffee shop. Or I'll hear, well, it used to work, but then now it doesn't work because I get distracted and I'm looking at all the coffees or whatever, right? Like I'm looking at all the things that are in the coffee shop. Okay. But it did used to work. So don't believe that it doesn't work anymore either. Let's try it again. Because you never know. Maybe it does. Or the Pomodoros never work for me. Well, okay. Maybe it's not the right timing. Can we switch it up a little bit? Like, don't just believe automatically that something doesn't work or that it has lost its power in some way.
Right. Because it frankly, maybe it didn't work before. But one of the things that we know is that change is important for us, right? We need to change things up all the time because that's what allows us to see around the next new shiny corner and move. You just never know. The thing that I'm finding most interesting in my life right now that the kids are gone, is that, and I've said for years, I think we can go back in the transcripts and that my most effective time of day is in the late afternoon, evening. But I've never had control of that time in my home. Right. I've never had that because there was always driving to some practice or another or, dealing with kid drop-offs. Now they're gone. And I'm finding my life is changing in some really dramatic ways because I can wake up, I can do some podcasts in the morning, I can take a longer lunch, and right around 2 or 3 o'clock, I can dig in. And my wife and I will eat late. We can eat at 7, right? We can eat when the wind is gone again, right? But we don't have to dig in to my most productive time, creative time, when it comes quite naturally. That it takes time to learn that and to massage your life into a way. Sometimes it's just not possible. It has been a struggle for decades and now it's not anymore and I'm loving it. But that's not to say that it's easy.
We are going to talk about some ways to bring interest and connection and meaning to your tasks. And one of the things that I want us to set the tone or the mindset is that we're not trying to force motivation. We're trying to invite it in. And that's just so nice, right? Like it's so nice to invite it rather than like forcing it and trying to make yourself do something that you don't want to do. So a lot of these things, you guys are not going to be surprised. Like you've heard them before, but I think it's worth repeating. And it's again, worth trying out some new things, trying some things that you've tried before but forgot about. Like that happens a lot too, right? And so if you're stuck right now, if there's something, if you have, in fact, this is what I want the listeners to do, and this is what I did in the workshop, is I want you to think about a task that you're avoiding. And I want you to think about how hold that space as we're talking about these things that you can do to bring interest, connection, and meaning. And then do that task today with some of these new strategies.
Yes.
Figure out how to tackle it. And it may not complete the task, but let's get started on it.
You were so wound up just now. I thought you were going to throw yourself out of your own chair.
Right?
Like it felt you were a real Tigger.
Like
on that line.
Do it.
You do that task
together.
Today.
Yeah, we are there to help you do it. So let's get that toleration checked off. Yes.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
I have one. I have one in mind. Let's help me get through it.
Help you get through it. That's right. So, first one that we want to talk about is creating interest through novelty or stimulation. Oh, this is what your brain needs, right? We need that something new, something different. So, how do you change the task that you don't want to do? How can you add some novelty to it? Well, you can, this is one of my favorite things, set a short timer and make it a competition. This is how I clean the house, folks. I set the timer for 10 minutes and I figure out what can I get done in 10 minutes. And it always surprises me that I can do my dishes in less than 5. I always feel like it's going to take an hour. But to unload the dishwasher really takes like minutes, like few minutes, but it feels like it's going to take forever. But that's how I gamify it, right? It makes it more fun. Change your environment. We just talked about this. If you don't do well working at home or doing, if the task is work related, then let's get it out of the environment you're in, whether you work from home or if you work in an office and you want to go to a cafe, let's move to that cafe. Co-working with someone, and we're going to talk about accountability, but body doubling is one of my very favorite strategies when it comes to doing hard things, because you've got that person who is anchoring you, they're supporting you, they know that you're doing a hard thing, and there's just something about that that's magic. So I definitely believe like that co-working with people can make a big difference. Focus music, we had the Brain FM scientists here recently, like that can make a huge difference. If you haven't tried that, try it. Um, and then add those sensory elements, give yourself a cozy drink, buy yourself a new pen. I have lots of people in our GPS membership who love stationery and pens and stickers and bring that into it. I talked about bringing a candle into my office, but all of those women that are like 45 plus are going to understand. It made me really hot. I had to take the candle out of the office.
That's not where I expected it to go, but I should have.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't handle this. It's
so
hot in here now.
I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I love Prince. And that was one of the things that I got out of my tour of Paisley Park was like Prince had candles everywhere. Broad daylight in the studio, it just every surface, speakers, control decks, mic beds, everything had candles all over the place, and he would work by candlelight and turn off all the main lights. I low key love that. I think that's really cool. I don't have enough candles, but it makes me think I need to explore some candles. I'm not plagued with the I get hot part.
Yeah,
so
you don't get the
maybe
hot
candles
flashes,
are for me. Yeah.
So it might work, for some
Yeah.
of you. So yeah, anything that just kind of creates some interest, right? Just to make it a little bit shinier. Building connection through accountability and body doubling. I want to just talk a little bit more about that because we do a lot of that in our membership, but also in our community, right? If you are part of Discord and in the Take Control, ADHD podcast community, we have accountability anchor sessions. We have hosted sessions that we do, and they make such a big difference because you're working with a group of ADHDers who are all doing hard things, and you can check in, before you start with your work session, tell people what you're working on. You can update them at the end. There's just so much value in that. And I highly recommend that if you've not tried this before, to try it. And it makes a difference too when and we've talked about this. I know I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again, but it's just such important information that you put it out in the universe, and it's all of a sudden it's like, okay, I've got that little motivator to actually do it, to get it done and celebrate that. The last thing that I want to talk about is the emotional piece, and the alignment around bringing meaning into what the task is at hand. Now, this isn't going to be, well, it can be relevant to any piece. It could be work related, home related, personal related. Because I was thinking about how do I personally put meaning to the dishes? Well, it is nice to have a clean sink, right? It does feel good
Yeah.
to not see that. It is less clutter. So when you're looking at, even though the emotional piece is, I don't want to do this, I know that the benefit is it's going to look nicer. I'm going to feel better. I'm not going to have that hanging over my head, all of those things. So we want to think about who and what benefits from me doing this. What value of yours does this connect to? And again, how does this make life easier for future you? And Sunday night when we've had a big dinner and I don't want to do the dishes, I know that Monday morning when I'm waking up for my, work week, it's going to be nice to have those dishes be done. So I have to think about that future you. So if you can connect a task to something that really matters to you emotionally, your brain doesn't just see it as work. It sees more meaning into it. And that's what Nicole was saying all along, right? When she was talking about how do you bring meaning to your financial goals? Because then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's not just a task, but this actually, does hold some value that maybe I'm not paying attention to right away, but I am now.
I have this phone call I have to make. It's a phone call to the insurance company, and I don't want to do it. I don't like talking to the insurance adjuster. I find all kinds of ways to mysteriously forget that I have to do it. But this is a reminder. This is a really good reminder for me, even as somebody who thinks about my tasks very deeply a lot. This is a clogging task, and who or what benefits from me doing this besides me moving this thing forward? My wife. Like, I know she really, really wants me to make this call, and I'm the one equipped with the information and the time to do it. And the value, I like living in a home that is not foundationally broken, and
right,
that is safe, and that is clean, and that is dry. And I know that making this call will move us further toward getting the things that are broken fixed. How does this make my life easier for future me? When my house is broken, it is at risk. It is at risk for critters to get into the sub-basement. It is at risk for flooding. It is at risk for all kinds of these sorts of things that are damaging. And just making a simple phone call to move this thing forward gets me closer to future me not having to think about those kinds of ingress. And that's like a mantra. I need to be thinking about that, because that's going to kick me into making this phone call when we're done with this podcast. Just get it out of the way.
And that's exactly it. I was going to say, like, we should make that phone call right now.
Right. Right.
And you can do it on air. But
I don't know that he would appreciate it, our adjuster. I don't think he would think that was fun.
No, but think about it. If it was just you and me having this conversation and I said, hey, Pete, you know what? Put me on mute and make that phone call right now. And I'm just going to be doing some work on the side here. And when you're done with that phone call, let me know how it goes. I bet you are more likely to do it in that moment, because I have opened up that space for you to do it, and I'm doing it along with you. Although I'm not. I'm actually working on something else.
Yeah.
There's magic to that. Just saying it and doing it and having that person around. So I definitely, I'm going to follow up on you with you about this and see if you did it. But I want to go back to our listeners. And again, think about that one thing that's been on your mind, and what is something that you can design, from some of our ideas or some of the things that you've done in the past to help you get started or even check it off, I think would be great. How can you set up your future you again to not have to rely on so much panic and last minute pressure? Because
who we're relying on when we're letting ourselves not do it. We're relying on past us, like the past us that is throwing a fit because I don't want to eat my broccoli. I don't want to eat the asparagus. It's too gooey. We're having a fit. And that's okay. We can have fits, but that doesn't move us forward. And so sometimes you have to have your fit and figure out, reframe around future you and not past you.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. That's helpful.
There you go.
Is that it? Did we win the podcast? Look, we did it.
We
thought it was going to be hard, but we did it. We muscled through, and now we have a podcast.
We have a podcast.
Wait, did I press record? Psych, I did.
Oh
I did, but look at your face. It was the best. I'll take that
if
face.
you did it, I would be like, nope, we're rescheduling. We're not doing this again.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us, for downloading and listening to this show. We appreciate your time and your attention. Don't forget, if you have something to contribute to the conversation, we're heading over to the Show Talk channel in our Discord server. You can join us right there by becoming a supporting member at the deluxe level or better. On behalf of Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll see you right back here next week on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.